Good morning, Stitch and Turn.
Connecting, boom. Now I'm tech savvy.
You good to go?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there, man. You know,
I hear you.
it's the business.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, you got to stay on your toes.
Oh, yeah. Yep, go ahead.
How have you been? How everything is good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I still got my shop. Making tools somewhat. I mean, my wholesale orders and stuff have peeled off, and some of my other stuff is kind of back down, but I'm still here.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna get into some questions to get to know you better. Then we get into your story.
Okay.
All right. If you had the opportunity, would you go to the moon?
Go to the moon? Oh yeah. Why not?
Right.
Why not? That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't think I would go, but it does seem cool. It is pretty cool. What word or phrase do you overuse?
Awesome. I say awesome a lot.
Okay. What is your least favorite thing to do?
Oh man. I've done a lot of things I haven't liked. Right now, I'm painting my house, so scraping the old paint off my house. I don't like that right now.
So you scrape it as opposed to like just pressure washing it?
Yeah, it's a 100-year-old house, so I got a lot of nooks and crannies and beads and stuff, and
detail work.
I let it slide. So now I'm paying the price.
Yeah, there's no easy way.
Nope.
What is your most favorite thing to do?
I really like playing music.
I saw you were making a guitar. You a guitar player?
Yep. I play guitar. I play dobro. I've been playing in bands in Portland since the 90s, early 90s.
Wow. What kind of music?
I started off playing like punk rock and stuff. And then now, when we were playing like bluegrassy, Americana, kind of, but we're playing, you're going, what are you guys, bluegrass band? I go, if you like straight bluegrass, we're not it. So, we'll play things you're like, really? But, it's fun. I love it.
Okay. What is the one thing you would change? What is the one thing your significant other or spouse would change about you?
I don't know. There's a bunch of things. Well, I mean, not bad, I mean, it's nothing.
Okay.
Not too much,
All right. What makes you tick?
Just getting up and going through it every day, every day's different.
Okay. I want to go back to the music. Who's your favorite guitar player? Who's your favorite guitar?
Oh man. I like John Renbourn a lot. He's pretty amazing. I mean, but I grew up listening to Led Zeppelin and stuff. So you got Jimmy Page, straight up FM rock. But I collect records and stuff. So you find all these, like Chug Otis. He's a freaking amazing guitar player. There's just all these dudes that I never knew this existed. Now I do. So, music.
Right. What irks you the most?
Stupidity. Just dumb. It's like, oh, come on. Just in all aspects of it.
Yep. What sound makes you happiest?
Sound?
sound?
I don't know. I guess I like it when my dogs bark when they come in the driveway. You know, so they say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Good to see you. Yep.
Yeah.
What sound bothers you the most?
Styrofoam squeaking freaks me out. I can do fingers on the chalkboard, but styrofoam squeaking.
All right. What would you want on your tombstone?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What profession other than your own would you like to try?
I'd like to be an archaeologist. That would be fun. I love that stuff.
Right. What is it about your personality that drives your business?
I probably am my own worst enemy, so I stay on top of myself as much as I can. You know, you can working for yourself. You can only yell at yourself. You know, so it's like I just probably just that old New England Puritan kind of just do it.
All right. What is it about your personality that hinders your business?
I get distracted. I can be doing something here, and then something will catch my eye over there, and I'll have to go deal with that. I kind of always work that way. I'll get 4 or 5 things going at once, and it's kind of like going down the drain. They all just get closer and closer. But it does get to, because I'll stop doing something that I really should be doing to go mess around with something else that I need to be doing. But, you know, keeping the priorities moving in the proper line, I guess.
Okay. Who would you travel cross country with on a motorcycle?
Well, if I get on a motorcycle, I'm not going to go far because I have a history of hitting things on them. Who would be cool? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I got friends that I do it with, but you see somebody who's like, oh, I bet you this guy's cool, and then they turn out to be a real tool. So you're like, geez.
What was your favorite concert?
Oh, well, that's it. I saw Roger Waters play at the Civic Center in Portland when he did the Radio Chaos tour, so that was pretty amazing. I saw Page and Plan at the Garden. I saw Justin Townes Earl open up for Old Crow Medicine Show, his first show at the Ryman Auditorium. And we met him at this vintage clothing store. Him and the guy he was playing with, we met him, we were chatting with him. And he was like, oh no, this is my first big show. And it's like dropped him right out on the Ryman Auditorium. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I have a chunk of my life where I kind of have a blackout period. So I know I saw some good shows then too, but I just don't, I just don't remember.
Do you have any childhood nicknames?
Oh man. The Reverend Jim, Crispy, Carrot, Iggy, dumbass. Oh, I got a bunch of them. Different, different phases, different friends. You get different names.
Right. When was the last time you cried?
I lost a friend. A while back. It was like, he was in a, I'd known him for years and stuff, and it was just kind of tragic. So death of a friend.
Right. How long ago was that?
He died a few years ago. But I mean, I've just been numb, I guess, of late. I just kind of.
What impact do you want to leave on the industry?
That I was here, that I made the tools that I made, that, people still use them. Every once in a while, some of the original stuff, like from the previous owner, when I apprenticed with him, his stuff will pop up. I see things that are mine that'll show up. I mean, I've been doing this for 21, 22 years, and he started in the 70s. So having a lasting, people know, this is what this guy did. Even in a small niche situation, but, this is what I did. And I left, my stuff survives.
When was the most difficult time for your business, and how did you overcome it?
Well, the recession was pretty brutal. It literally stopped, because everybody's freaking out, going, "Where's my money?" And then when this whole mess started in March, even before then, it just tailed off. I make frames for my brother. He's a potter. So he'd be on the road going to shows. So I lost all that. And then all the wholesale orders, everybody just froze. So it's just tricky. Well, everybody, we're all dealing with it. It's all it's tricky. Because I don't have people come in. I mean, people will get a hold of me and they'll come in to my shop. "Can I come visit you?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm here." I'm always here. My house is right out back, so I don't have far to go. And it's just navigating, doing niche stuff, and navigating it when you sometimes become one of the first things that gets axed off the list to get. Priorities come into play.
Right.
So it's been an interesting, it was crawled back out, cranking along. Here we are again.
Okay. Do you have any black friends?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do you often see people of color in your industry?
No. I mean, no. I mean, I used to go to Mike Dunbar's chair classes, and there were not a ton of black people, and just people of color in general coming.
Right.
It's that white privilege crap. I'd probably. And interest. I mean, how what you can and can't do. Like, some people.
Yes.
It's where you grow. I grew up with my father was a woodworker right from the get-go. So I had tools in my hand when I was 4.
Yep.
And it's just, life puts you in different places.
Exactly. Yeah. What's natural to one could be completely foreign to another.
Exactly. And
you
that's
live 10 miles away.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's where a lot of problems occur too.
Yep.
It's like,
access and opportunity.
Yeah.
Who would you most like to have a conversation with?
Oh, man. They have to be alive?
No.
That's a good question. There's so many different answers to that, really. I mean, I love to talk to people in history, you know, like talk to Lincoln, talk to Washington, talk to Ben Franklin, just any one of those guys, you know, talk to my great-grandfather, you know, just.
Did you know your great-grandfather?
I was a little guy. I have a memory of just this old guy, you know, smartly dressed, wore a three-piece suit type of guy. When I was probably 3 or 4, just a, you know, a flash in your mind type of thing. So this would have been in the early 60s.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So the questions are done.
Questions
so
are done.
We get into your journey.
Okay.
Take us back to how you got started in this industry and the different things that led to where you are now.
Okay. Well, I guess I've had tools in my hand since I got to been 4 years old or so. My father, I got a toolkit that had stuff that would cut you. You know, there was no Fisher Price toolkit. You got chisels and saws and hammers and all that. And just being exposed to it, I've never been afraid of tools. I was working in machine shops. 13 years old, I started working in machine shops.
Wow.
So, yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts before I moved here in the 80s, but I grew up in Massachusetts, and there was tons of aerospace and military, just Raytheon, GE, all of those places. There were machine shops in people's garages. So I literally walked down the street and worked in a guy's garage, cutting stock, and then it just progressed. Got out of high school. Literally within days, I was working in a machine shop until 86. I stopped and I moved to Maine. And I mean, that chunk of my life it's pretty out there like Pluto. And then I moved up here and I did cement work. I did fixing paper mills and nuke plants and dams and doing really cool, like going to places nobody sees. And then 11 years after I graduated, I went to college, did history, started working in the building that I'm in right now for another guy doing furniture stuff. I did some restaurant work and making store fixtures for Timberland out of antique boards, like people harvesting barns and selling the boards. And we'd make stuff for them when they were a promo they were doing for all their stores. And
Timberland, the shoe company.
Yep. And then we were making all these tables and stuff. It was fun, but working with that barn board is a pain in the neck. There's all sorts of goodies in there when you cut into it. But
very old. And
then I started. My father took a chair class with Mike Dunbar way back when he was a little small operation, and met. Hang on. Can you see that? This guy. That's Leon Robbins. He started Crown Plane. He was a antique tool dealer in Bath, Maine, down on the waterfront by the shipyard. He sold antique tools. And one day he said, I want to make a plane. So he did. And he came up with the method that he does, which is 4 pieces as opposed to the Krenov, which is 3. You know, they're just different approach to it. And it's not the solid tool. And I ended up, he had emphysema. So he was fading. And I ended up taking over the company.
So how long did you work with him?
Up until his death. I drive, it's 45 minutes from my house. So I just go up and see him. If I had a question, I'd go up and see him. And then I go up and see him too, because it was literally stepping back in time. He was like, I was born here. My wife was born over there. I live here. There's a bridge that connects Portland and South Portland. It's a big, known in Maine. And I go, oh, have you been across the $1 Million Bridge? He goes, no. I go, why? Because I've never had a need to. And he was 80 years old. He lived here his entire life.
And how far away is the bridge?
Like I can be on it in about 5 minutes from my shop.
And he never crossed it.
He never crossed the bridge. If he came to Portland, I had to go meet him at Denny's. That was as far as he would go. That was it. But it was old school. And I needed it. I just gotten divorced and stuff. So it was really centering to be up there with him. And just like, why are you doing that? It's like, well, because of this. He goes, oh, that's a waste of time. You know, don't do that. Taught me, if I screw up, have a tool that's screwed up, you know, something gets messed up when I'm making it. Because just cut it in half on the bandsaw, throw it away. You're going to waste more time trying to fix it. So it's just always been, that's like, just all those little things, little pearls of wisdom and stuff that he'd throw at me. But his shop was tiny and organic. Everything was linked together. I'm spread out. And so I'd go up there and I would be in his little world. I mean, we had, at a certain time he ate lunch, I had to leave the shop. And I would go kill an hour and a half. He took a nap, came back out. His wife at 2 o'clock would bring us a little glass of Moxie and a little Debbie's Star Crunch every day at 2 o'clock. But it was really cool. It was so, you know, I mean, the knowledge that he had that disappeared, and just all those old guys, you know, it's some of it's just gone.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's certain stuff he made that I don't know how he was doing it. And some of the stuff he was doing was like, I'm surprised he still had all his fingers.
Right. Yeah. This is going to be left on the conversations page and it'll go to YouTube.
Okay.
So someone just asked because they need to leave.
Oh, okay. Yep. Cool. Well, thanks for watching.
Yep. So you're hanging out with him, you're watching him learn. How many years were you apprenticing or training under him?
I was setting up my part of the operation after about 8 months of getting, it stuck with me. You know what I mean? Once I knew what to do, it was game on. And he was still doing orders that he had because he was making panel raising planes and rule joints and stuff like that. And I was just started focusing on the Travishers and the compass planes and all that. So, but if I was, like when I come up with a new tool, I take it up to him. Go, look, how do you think this works? He goes, this is, you know, you got to do this. And then one day he goes, it looks like the students passed the master. So I was like, whoa, that was kind of big.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Travishers, Copper John and Birmingham, a chair maker, just said that they look awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the Travishers and the compass planes are the meat. I make those. I've made a couple thousand of them, I bet, since I've made them. Since I've been making them.
And those are your more popular items.
Yeah, it's the chair maker stuff. I mean, Travishers. People like Travishers. You know how many? I see. There's a few people out there making them and stuff, but it's you know, it's one of those strange tools that specific to a point, but people find other uses for them. You know, and it's cool looking. It's a pretty cool looking tool. You know, I make all the irons for all the stuff too. So I'm doing metal work in here too.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What is the most challenging thing about what you do?
Just, I don't, you know, I think it's messing with trying to come up with new stuff, just having something different to do and trying to figure out what people would like. You know, because there's guys that are making beautiful, you know, solid beach molding planes and all that. And I'm just, it's not worth it for me to get into doing that. So I'm doing compass planes and jack planes and started making a joiner plane. I've got a couple other things over there that I'll look at the old ones and go, can I convert that into the way I do it? You know, to have them. And then it's the challenge of doing it. You know, it's like, okay, I did that. Excellent.
Okay. Where do you want to be in a year?
Still here. I'd like to be here. I'm so entrenched in it. I don't think I'm employable anymore as far as having a boss and going back to like when I worked in factories where you're just cranking parts out and, doing anything like working in a restaurant. And yeah, I don't think I could do that anymore. I plan on being here, making stuff, doing, I just turned my shop the other day was full of 5 bookcases. So messing around, doing things, just keeping it going so that it's like, okay, I'm still here. I'm still doing it.
Yep. What was the furthest you've shipped a tool?
I sent them to Australia, Korea, New Zealand, which is Australia. Well, no, it's not. It's New Zealand. Tasmania, all over. I haven't sent one to the Antarctica yet. I did send one to a military postage thing, and I think it went over to the Middle East somewhere, which was kind of cool. All over the United States and stuff, Canada. Okay. But I'd say the other side of the world.
Is there anyone that you're teaching this to, like you learned?
I've had a couple of people come work with me periodically when they haven't had, where they needed some work, and I could use the hand. But as far as what I'm doing, no, I haven't really. I'm kind of the only person that knows, how I'm doing it, like on a regular basis. Just it's not the most complex thing, but it's knowing everything that can go on and happen.
Would you be interested in teaching someone?
Eventually, maybe. I've thought about that somehow. Even if I had stuff where you could get the pieces and put it together and kind of make it your own to some, but there's jigs and things that you gotta have to, hold it. And I think some of my machinist background messes with my world, because with wood, you've got room, the tolerances are a little, because it's gonna, but I can't let go of that. I see things that are like, somebody be like, that's fine. See you later, you're gone. I just chuck it. I'm my own worst enemy that way. I think that would be one of those answers to a previous question, as far as I really want it to be right.
Right.
And even when people are here working in my shop doing some things, I go like, oh, okay. Because I let people come in and use my planer or, things like that. They know what they're doing. But I'll still get involved in it. It's like, get over there. I'll do this for you. Let's go.
Yeah, sometimes that's better too.
I don't want anybody getting messed up in here. Yeah. Sometimes it's a minefield walking around in here with stuff. My wife sells vintage stuff. So I've got bureaus, I've got old stereos in here. Plus I've got, my father moved and he's got rid of his shop and it's been incorporated into here. So I've got bits and pieces of stuff just everywhere. I've been going through boxes for months.
Where do you get your wood from?
All around. There's a place in town, Atlantic Hardwood, which I've been dealing with them for a while. There was a guy down the street, had a garage full of tiger maple. I got a bunch off of him. There used to be a guy when I first started, this guy Dennis Day, and he sold out of his garage, and he was a character. He was quite a guy. He took off and moved way up the coast. He's almost in Canada now. But yeah, and I've noticed like the ability to I was able to get 1,500 board feet of Pennsylvania hard tiger maple right off the bat when I started this 20 years ago. It took 3 weeks to hunt down some really nice 8-quarter tiger maple. The last load that I got. So it's and the price of it floats all over. Well, the price of wood floats around like crazy. Like what? You can't get pressure treated right now because everybody's building decks.
Yep. Do you use air dried or kiln dried wood?
Mostly kiln dried. It's mostly kiln dried. I've got stuff from people that are cutting But a lot of the cuttings going, you know, they're cutting hemlock and stuff like that. A lot of the, you know, the big hardwoods have been plucked out of the state. You know, I think they find it. I mean, like they've got trees on my street that have burls like that. You know, it's like, I bet you I'm not the only person watching that tree.
You got that right.
Yep.
What do you look for when you get kiln dried wood? Do you stabilize it after, or that's good?
I tend to get a you know, a good amount, and I'll put it in here and just let it get used to being in my shop, and kind of just like I won't cut everything and then immediately go build. You know, I'll cut it, let it sit for a little bit, because I've had pieces of wood, you're looking at it and you're like, this is perfect, it's going to cut like a piece of butter. And next thing you know, it's going into the saw and it just starts screaming because one piece is riding up over the other. Because, you know, I've had tools where all of a sudden the next day, it's just rack. See you later. You know, I tend to, and if I start to see that it might have been the piece of wood that's just nature, I mean, it's doing what it wants, and I'll just kind of scrap that bit of parts and just say, you're not even going to get into the game. Because I don't want anything coming back on me. You know what I mean? I've always stood by the stuff. It's like if the stuff breaks or whatever, I'm always here to fix it. You know, so that's, I don't want to break it.
Right. So, can we get a tour?
Yeah, we just hold the phone and kind of.
Yeah, you can hit the phone.
Oh, I can spin it.
Yeah.
Boom. All right.
You're learning a lot here today, Jim.
I'm telling you, it was funny. When I started doing this, the internet was just AOL. You know.
Do you still have an AOL address?
No. A friend of mine started learning at the exact same time. Started learning computer work. So he went to one of the trade schools, built a computer. Now he's a computer whiz. He's my guy. Comes over and does stuff for me and stuff. But it was weird. Like most of the world's running towards, you know, 21st century, and I'm starting to slip back the other way, going, I'm going to make wooden tools so you can make Windsor chairs. You know, so it's been it's kind of interesting. All right, here we go. You ready to see what this is my bench. It's covered with stains and stuff. This is where right here, you can see that's 20 something years of plane making going on just one spot. Oh, here, I laid some stuff out. Here's some of the Crown Plane catalog. This isn't even all of it. I'm doing this stuff with my buddy Jason Morrissey. He's making this Damascus steel.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I got another one over here. You can kind of see it. But
very nice.
You know, here's one of the biggest. Let me see. I'm trying to split screen you here. Okay, here's one of the biggest ones I make right there.
Got it.
And that's the smallest one I make right there.
Okay, so how much are they?
This one, $2 1/4.
Biggest and the smallest.
The little guy?
Yep.
Like $50 maybe.
Okay.
I usually make these 1-inch ones. These seem to be pretty popular. There we go. Got to look at what I'm doing. And but you know, I've raised my prices in 22 years once.
Wow.
So when I started, a Travisher was $95 and a compass plane was $80, and now they're $105 and $95. So $200 gets you the chairmaker's tools. You know, and that's I don't want to sell something that I can't buy. You know what I mean? You know?
Right.
All right, now I fix lamps. This is the vintage part of my life. I make frames for my brother. Here is the madness. It's the front of the shop. My landlords and awesome sandwiches are in the store right across the street. I think they're watching it. Hey, Sue and Bella, what's going on?
What's up, Sue and Bella?
There you go. Stereos, furniture that's going to get fixed.
Now, do you do old stereos?
Yeah. Kenwood, Sony, Sansui.
Copper John just said, "Take my money. Those look beautiful."
These guys, those ones over there need a little bit of work, but I found a monster Pioneer at a yard sale just a little while back. It was like one of my yard sale scores was epic. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? And then here's my brother's little gallery, kind of where he's 90% of the time he was on the road, but that's all stuff. Those are the frames that I make for him.
Oh, he's a painter.
Those are tiles.
Tiles.
There's a table I made so many years ago. He does all this stuff. Is all ceramics. He's insane.
He's a ceramicist.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
We share the space. He's got a.
Okay, hold it. Can we go back and see some more of his stuff?
Oh yeah. It's odd ink pottery. He's out there in the world. There's some, just all arts and crafts stuff and.
Wow.
Oh yeah. When he was a little kid, he'd draw you a picture and say, "This is such and such," and you'd look at it and you go, "Yep, it is." So he does these. I don't know how the light's doing in here, but
you're beautiful.
Yeah, he's unbelievably creative. He was going on the road and doing all the big fancy museum shows, and then that's back into the world. It's a nice day out today. Nice. And these are tools that are leaving the building, except for the old jet. That's a 4-bearing drill press. That's not going anywhere. And then here's some wood and stuff stacked up over there. There's some more stuff just kind of laying around. That goes into the madness. That's the back of the shop.
Can we take a look at those machines?
Yeah, I'm heading back in right now. This thing right here, 20-inch bandsaw, has been it's the workhorse. That thing does more stuff. And I've got all my grinders, belt sanders, disc sanders, spindle sanders. And over here, some more set up right now for doing metal work, chop saw, flamingos. I put legs on those things every once in a while. And planer. This I've got set up right now for doing waterfall edges. Infinity makes these bits, so these bits are doing waterfall edges on plywood. That's one of them, which is pretty cool. Metal working over here. A lot of the stuff I've got in here is like old used Rockwell Delta and weird stuff like that. All this stuff's all mounted on roll-arounds. This old beast right here, this old General, 8-inch, still back before they were safe. Milling machine.
Very nice.
I know these well. And then all this metalworking tools over here. A pile of vices. There's all my vices, all in a row. Yeah, more stuff over here. And then I've got this. This was a furniture stripping operation. This building before we moved in. So I got an explosion-proof fan on the back. When the fire department came in, at one point they go, "Where's all the tanks?" And I said, "That guy's gone." They go, "Good, because we're just going to let it burn." It was like, because this guy was the color of steel. He had been stripping furniture professionally for so long.
Oh.
But yeah, this is kind of, I got big tall ceilings. There was a tank under there. Some of the paint is kind of falling off. And then this is my brother's stuff out back here.
Okay.
This is one of his little studios. And then, let's see. Goes around, you can see he's got all this shipping and whatnot. It's a pretty big space. Lucked out. And that right there is my house.
Wow.
I literally walked around. There's a hole in the fence behind that dumpster.
I wonder how that got there.
It had been changed shut when we were building kitchen cabinets for my house. Like, this is ridiculous. So we just got the bolt cutters, hack the fence open. Like, there we go. because it was all chained up. It was a gate, but it was just buried in the dirt. It's like, this is crazy. We're carrying stuff through here all the time. But yeah, that's my art collection. I go to auctions and find, little bits of stuff. There's some old planes over there, and that little beast right there, that Shopsmith, that thing gets used. I need a spinning arbor, and that thing has just been perfect for doing stuff. And all just more stuff, tiki art. But that's kind of my shop.
Cool. Very nice.
All my benches back here and storage, and that's the problem. It's like I've just got a pack ratty part of me too. Here, I'm gonna flip back around so you can see me.
Yep.
Here I am.
All right, cool. So
yeah.
So who's most of your clientele?
Highland Woodworking, formerly Highland Hardware down in Atlanta, buys a ton of stuff. They buy compass planes and Travishers. That's where that, and then Woodcraft was buying stuff. I guess they got nice stuff in the Japan Woodworker catalog. But a lot of it is, people that have seen it. Somebody's using one, and I'll get a flurry of them. They were using some of my tools on the Woodwright shop. So whenever that pops up, I'll get a run. It's like, oh, I saw it on, I saw the episode when they were doing the Windsor chair, and they used this compass plane. So I'm like, yep, I will make them. I just missed meeting him too that day, because I drive down and sell tools on the day they were making the chair seat, because it was right there, and could help you and show you what was going on. But yeah.
Is there any wood that you're looking for to use that you are not able to get for your planes?
I use ebony, and when I first started, I could get chunks of it. I could get good pieces, and it was reasonably priced, but it's really hard to get more than little billets and stuff now that and you don't know if it was cut and dipped and chucked in wax and it was still pretty wet. So I have to open it up really carefully. And, I've had set a piece on the table of the saw, went home to get lunch, come back, and it's rusted because it was so wet.
Wow.
Yeah. And just the tiger maple is really good, nice, hard tiger maple is hard to get a hold of. It's just going somewhere. We're just not getting cut and running out. That's probably part of the reason too.
Right. What do in all of your local wood,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get walnut, cherry, maple, oak, elm.
Yep, you can get all that stuff. Ash, pine, hemlock, that type of stuff. But I'm really I'll use hornbeam, bird's eye, tiger, hard maple, osage. I'll use bloodwood in some for wedges and stuff. But a lot of the soft and stringy stuff, or softer and stringy stuff, I just don't want it because of the bearing surface of the bottom of the plane. I don't want it to, start getting gouged up. And it's easy with a wooden plane. You can tune them right back up. Just dust off the bottom real light, and it's back to life.
Right. Nava, who's the host of the Center for Art and Wood, said a few weeks ago, Roy Underhill did an interview there at the woodshed.org.
Cool. Yeah, he's a guy I'd like to chat with. He seems like a pretty cool dude. Yeah, and that's it. I've kind of stayed under the radar. I was there making stuff, and people knew Crown Plane was there, but I didn't. When I jumped on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all in the same day, and I hadn't done any of it, and I was kind of like, oh, what have I done? It's like I'm out there now, you know, and my posting's been a little sporadic of late, but you know, Instagram's been quite a help, you know, as far as people seeing me, and then I get to see what's going on too.
Yeah.
Hiding away, you don't know what's going on in your world either.
There's a big world out there.
Whew. I know, and it's what's sitting here on my phone right now.
Yeah. What did you think when I reached out to you and asked you to do this?
I thought it was cool. You know, I was like, yeah, that seemed cool. And then I got lost for a little bit, so that's why I kind of just. And then you're like, you're doing this. And I'm like, okay, yeah. No, I was in. I was like, I had a little anxiety, I guess. Just yeah. But now I'm, you know, and I think some of it's too is just the tech. This whole time I've never done a Zoom call. You know, everybody's like, oh, Zoom call. I'm like, I'm gonna go over to my shop and make sawdust.
Right, what the heck is a Zoom call, right?
Yeah.
When I first started this, I had anxiety.
Yeah, I imagine.
If you notice, I think I started this in April. Before April, there are no pictures of me anywhere on my Instagram for 6-7 years.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I need to do this. And I talked myself up, and I did it. And now it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But I had reservations at first.
Well, it's great. It's awesome. It's because we do, I mean, in the way things are nowadays, we do you can become just a little avatar or you know, and you got people, just as many people hiding behind the internet and be like, oh, I can see whatever I want. I'm a creep. It's like, okay, whatever there, paleo. But
right.
You know, it is strange. When I first started doing this, you had to call me, leave a message on a landline in my basement, and then mail me a check. I didn't take credit cards. I did none of that. And I have a website, but it got to a point where I was processing credit cards in my basement through the website. So, and then with all the rules and all the hacking and all the craziness, I use Etsy. If you want to get a hold of me, just ask me questions. You know, you can get a hold of me here, and I'm coming back to, you know, I'm paying attention to my world again, and it's just been kind of easier that way. And plus, with all this, where you got to send stuff, you know, I send stuff to another country, and there's taxes and all that. They handle all that. Paperwork makes my head hurt. Anything like I can do this stuff. But you start giving me pens, I'm like, just freeze up sometimes. It's like, oh, I got to get my taxes done. And go, uh-oh.
Do you have any hobbies?
I play music. I started messing around doing models again, which is really weird. I'm 50, just turned 59 the other day.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And it started... kind of like something I did when I was a kid. It was peaceful, and I can sit down in my basement. I buy and sell stereo stuff and record albums. I got an Etsy store where I just sell, I sell records and stuff. Just kind of, the hobby and my work kind of all squished together. You know what I mean? I love going out junking with my wife and stuff, looking.
What was the most surprisingly expensive record you found? There's another guy in Maine who collects books. Jesse Savage Blacksmith.
Yep.
Him and his wife are book collectors and sellers. Yep. They were. So in your looking, what's the surprisingly most expensive record that you found and sold?
found a bunch of stuff in dollar bins that you like, the Baby Huey story, some Miles Davis stuff, all sorts of weird jazz stuff, in dollar bins, you know, $100+ records and stuff. I've got ones that I've traded off, you know, stacks to get one record and things like that. It's funny how, I mean, I grew up with it. And I had a 45. I danced around to songs that I actually play in the band now. And I remember when I was going to, must have been nursery school with my great aunt and my cousins, and I Want to Hold Your Hand came on the radio. And they all started singing like crazy, and I just jumped right in, and I think that's where it clicked. So that musical part, I mean, I played the saxophone in elementary school for a little while. I tried playing guitar, and then I didn't for a long time. And then I said, I want to play the guitar again. And I started, my ex-wife and I, in an apartment, she had a drum riser. So the people underneath were probably pretty psyched about that. And my brother and another friend were messing around, and we started a band. And then she hung around for a little while and then had other plans in life, and out the door she went. And a buddy of ours literally stepped in the day she left. We had a show and we had to play it. He stepped in and was drumming, and he's been in the band ever since. That was 96, I guess.
Wow.
So, but yeah, and then, yeah, it's always, I mean, it's amazing what people get rid of, you know, as far as stuff like that. And how, you know, what they value and what they don't, really.
Right. Now, being in Maine and close to, have you seen any of have you gone to any of the Newport jazz festivals back in the day? No.
And that's something that I wanted to do. I'd love to go to any of those things. I didn't, jazz kind of entered my life. I listened to Sketches of Spain. And it was weird because I must not have been listening. As the musician sense of me wants to be, I'm always, the free jazz throws me into a corner. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. I can't, there's no beat. But as soon as I found where the beat was, it's like, I get jazz now. I get it.
Right. Everything is understanding the language.
Yeah. I mean, and I was terrible at math, and I sat in geometry class. I lived at the school in high school, and geometry class was the first class of the day, and I couldn't make it. And I'd be like, I'm never going to use geometry. It's like, well, wrong.
Right.
And now I do geometry, but it's if they were looking at me going, what are you doing? It's like, I'm doing my geometry. Back off. It'll all come out the same in the end. I just got to take my route.
Right. Right. Jeff said, do you ever play with Bridge City Tools?
With who?
Bridge City Tools.
I think I've got one around here, but I've seen their stuff. It's pretty fancy. You know, it's very different. It's very their stuff's pretty cool, but no, I haven't. And that's the thing too, is my doing projects like building furniture or anything like that is very few was very few and far between, because I'd just be going one run of tools into the next run of tools, or cranking out frames and then into another run of tools.
Do you have any early stuff that you've made?
My parents have a cricket stool I made in 7th grade woodshop.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's fun because I had to take woodshop and I had to take metal shop, and it was before guys would take home ec and stuff, and then realized, oh, that's where the ladies are if you go to home ec. What are you doing? It's like, hey, 7th grade, 8th grade me didn't know anything. I'm just like, hey, I'm just rolling through life trying to figure it out. But yeah, it was and what is it about shop teachers? They're all missing a finger. But yeah, it's I guess I was fortunate too. My father would set out to do something. Like he wanted to tie flies, so he just started tying flies, but he doesn't fish. And he, you know, he built from just pantographed up copy of like Jim Bridger's Hawken rifle, you know, and pieces of furniture, and just really talented. So it just kind of was there, and I was exposed to it, you know, so put me where I'm at.
All right, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, have we covered it all?
Yeah, I think so. You know,
right.
I'm free to answer questions or whatever, but yeah, no, if you've got, if I've given the world a little bit of a glimpse into what I do and who I'm at and that I do exist, I'm more than just a picture.
Yep, and that's why we do this, to try to get to know a little bit more about the person who's creating.
Yep.
The person who's making.
It's really cool that you're doing it too. How's your world doing?
New York is okay. My world's a little chaos. I'm trying to figure it all out, but you know, it's par for the course. It's the price of the ticket.
Yep, I hear you.
One day at a time.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Keep your head on a swivel one day at a time.
Yeah. So, Nava, how much has your life in Maine influenced your path and approach to wood and tools?
Being in Maine, I remember as a kid, we went on a trip, and Maine was always this like fantasy up Route 95. You know, you'd see it on the sign, Maine. We cross the bridge and it says all Maine points. It's like, wow. You know, and I think it centered me because my life prior to moving here was nuts. You know, I was an alcoholic, and I started early. I went to high school in the 70s. So, you know, I was there was no rules, and I got sucked into it, and I luckily came out of it. And I had to,
thank God for that.
Yeah, I had to get my brain screwed back on and stuff, and escaped to Maine. And like the company that I started working with here, that I was doing all the heavy construction and cement work, it was kind of like boot camp. I needed to be beat into the ground
or in the shape, right?
Yeah, and then to start again. And this just kind of rattled along, you know. And with my help of my father and Leon, it just kind of put me here. So put me in Maine. I met Leon, and you know, it was all, I guess, it was just all pointing to this.
All right, cool. Yeah, we have about 60 seconds.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anything else? But
yeah, I thank you for your time.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
And participating. My pleasure. I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm glad you came on, and we got to know you. Our first tool maker.
Oh, cool. Cool. Very cool.
So again, thank you. I think our conversation tonight was canceled. It was a guy in Guatemala.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool, though. You're sitting in New York talking to a guy in Guatemala on a little phone or whatever. It's like, it's awesome.
It is, yeah. We've been Africa, Europe, England, you know, everywhere.
It's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing. All you need is Wi-Fi.
That's all.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for doing this. Have a great day.
You too. Keep some of those tools.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all for tuning in.